Chairman Huberty, you and I have had a lot of conversations about education. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And I really appreciate your leadership, not only on general public education, but also on education for our special needs children. You and I share
Yes, sir.
in our hearts and our minds goals, as a lot of these other members do, to make that better. So I really sincerely want to reach out and thank you
Yes, sir.
for your work on that. As you know, as you discussed in your speech a few minutes ago, that we did have a bill for special needs
Yes,
education choice.
Yes, sir.
It's a bill that I filed.
Yes, sir.
Your committee heard it. You're gracious to hear it. It was a late night hearing.
Yes, sir.
And but we didn't get that voted out.
That's right.
And so the body on the floor didn't get a chance to have a decision on that particular very limited portion of special needs choice. Is that correct?
The bill that you talk about is correct, but we did vote unanimously for House Bill 23 that provided for additional funding for special needs children with autism, cognitive learning disabilities, and things of that nature. And that was actually funded into the budget over a 5-year period of time.
Right, and you and I think I was either a co-author or a joint author on that.
You're a joint author on that bill.
Totally in support of that. As
Right.
you well know that I think we can go a little bit further than that.
Of course.
And that's fine. The House Bill 21, as sent over back by the Senate, as you mentioned, does have some provisions for limited special needs school choice. Is that correct?
Well, it's actually not limited. It's at 13 different categories within the bill itself. And if you watch the debate, there were amendments offered by various members of the Senate to add in IDEA language, which, as you know, is very important for the child to have those protections. Right. Those amendments were not offered. I believe there was also some discussion about limiting the amount was there, because our testimony that we heard, 95% dealt with autism and things of that nature that could be selective. So what came back was there was no cap on that. There was no income cap on it. So it actually wasn't limited. It was. I'm just
talking about limited special needs.
Yes, sir. Yes. But
you're right.
The body's clear on
my
this.
bill had an income cap on it and what have you.
Came back, no income cap.
Right.
Allowed for all the different.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Now I am glad that you're going to conference on this, because I believe, even though, as you said, there's not funding for it. As I read the Senate proposals, they talk about numbers in there that I think say it's somewhere around $500 million, but obviously you got to have a method of finance to pay for that.
That's correct.
And so, assuming that there was $500 million really real money available, do you believe that we
House will come to order.
Do you believe that we could have a real potential conversation and potentially add some, even though it might be limited, school choice for groups of special needs people?
In the bill, as it came back to us, House Bill 23 was included, so there is some options, and we, for charter schools and for expansions and partnerships, that was carefully crafted in House Bill 23 that allowed for the protections under IDEA, which this body unanimously voted out.
Right.
So that actually is inclusive of that and dealing with that. But let me go back to your earlier comment, which is that the method of finance that we have was stripped out. So we're talking about something that doesn't exist. There is no method of finance. There is no money to pay for this.
I understand that. I guess my question might be just a little bit more theoretical, in that if a magic fairy dropped the $500 million down on our desk, do you think that we would be able to have a meaningful conversation, even beyond what was in HB 23, that might give some of these kids some of the additional choice that they need?
Well, Representative Simmons, it is my intent is when we are about to name the conferees that we are going to request to have a public meeting with all 5 conferees. As you know, many times when we do conference committees here in this House, we're negotiating with authors. But we are going to make ourselves available from today until we get done to the very last minute. The conferees are going to be available to meet. Any of the rooms that are available, anywhere, anytime, any place, to be able to discuss to how to get a finance. This was meant to be a school finance reform bill. Again, I want to remind everybody that the Supreme Court of the state of Texas came back and said it's minimally constitutional. Right. You have to do something to fix the school finance system.
I agree with you on that. I do. And this issue that we've just been talking about is very important to me. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
And I
Of
haven't
course.
seen the list of conferees, but I would respectfully request to be included on that list, given that I'm probably one of the leading voices on this particular issue. So I thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you,
And I thank you,
Representative
Mr. Speaker. Appreciate that.